28 fights. Aoki has. This is a 5-round contest. Championship fight. 5-5-minute rounds.
Boku's got a very awkward stance and style.
Very open with his hands, isn't he?
He is. You know, he throws a lot of punches from his hips, but he knew that Aoki was going to go for the takedown right away.
He didn't want that.
But there's nobody better as far as being effective at submissions than Aoki, and he's doing the right thing. That he's going for that submission attempt. He's going for that takedown right away while Boku's still dry, and that sweat isn't a big factor. Already working on the back control, softening him up with some punches. Boku has to be very careful here.
And this is not where he wanted to be. Standing up with fists flying is where Boku wanted to be.
See, Aoki's doing a good job. He's picking his shots, but he's also looking to see how Boku's going to respond to see if that'll open up the choke. That's more of a neck crank, but that still could be painful across the jaw. Boku's doing the right thing, peeling the hand down.
Good strength from Boku.
He defended that the right way, even though that choke wasn't across the throat. That turns into more of a neck crank, but it's still very painful. Really hard to see from this angle if, what Aoki's working on here, but it looks like he's setting up a Darce. Well, that looks like it's in pretty deep, too. This is in deep. This could be the end of it here. That's tight. I don't know if Boku's going to be able to defend it. Boku might need to, I was just going to say walk up.
Climbing up on the cage.
But that just actually gave Aoki a little more room.
And the knee to the head.
You know, the thing is, if you miss the choke here, it still causes a lot of lactic acid built up in your arms. So if you're Aoki and you waste a lot of energy with a choke that you think is in, but it isn't, it still can be very difficult.
As if things weren't bad enough for Boku, he's taking a couple of heavy knees to that bald head of his.
Let's see if we can see from this angle here, if it's ending a little bit deeper. That looks really deep. You can see it on Boku's face. If we could get around a little more here, it's really tight. Very few people as effective in the submission game as Shinya Aoki.
Knee to the face that time.
Good luck to finish.
Boku survived. He's going to try to stand back up here and fight for that wrist control.
3 minutes of this contest gone. It's almost been entirely Boku under pressure on the ground. So far, his submission defense has stood tall.
Boku has been in these positions before, maybe not with someone who's as seasoned on the ground as Shinya Aoki, but he's had 30 fights, won, I believe, 6 of his last 7 fights. He's very tough. Zoro Babel Moreira couldn't submit him, and he's a world champion in jiu-jitsu and arguably several kilos bigger than Shinya Aoki is.
So much of that fight, though, was on the feet, which is where Boku wanted it to be. And so little of this one has been. Forearms coming down on Boku's face. Almost all of this contest has taken place in that little edge of the cage. Backhand fist punching upwards there from Boku in Shinya's face. As you say, Jason, holding these kinds of positions for 5 minutes, the old lactic acid starts to pile up.
When you're working in on
just as tired.
Yeah, when you're working in on those chokes, it does. Oh, nice positioning to mount. Boku has to be very careful here, protect his arms.
He's looking for the arm.
That's going to be tight. I don't know if he has the extension on it. The angle looks a little bit off here. I don't think Aoki has the angle. That cage is actually stopping him from being able to extend the way he needs to. Boku's got his wrist turned just enough so that he can't get a perfect extension. He's protecting well. but Aoki is one of the best guys at staying busy at this submission game.
Wow. I think the release of tension around the cage as that bell went was almost audible.
You see here, we almost had that face crank in. Aoki put a lot of pressure on it. Also had that Darce choke working nice and deep here.
絶対このゲームプラン絶対テイクダウンディフェンスない。Okay? Forward pressure. また forward pressure. また forward pressure. すごいすごい綺麗綺麗全部。カージオはどうですか？カージオ。OK 100%。OK。エルボーすごい上手上手。グラウンドコントロール全部。すごい頭いい頭いい。
Thank you, Christine. Second round of this World Championship contest, scheduled for 5-minute rounds.
Round 2.
What a grueling first 5 minutes we had. Now Boku is back where he'd rather be. How long will that last? On his feet with the potential to throw punches. This fight brought to you by Sony. Make believe.
Aoki's playing a smart game. He's not going to get engaged in a stand-up war with Boko. He's going right for the takedown, taking this where he's the best and most efficient. It's one thing I think a lot of people thought that Zoro maybe did wrong was tried to get out of his comfort zone and stood a little too long. Had a lot of success with the punches and the kicks, but not playing to the strong suit as well as he could have. Aoki's not making that mistake. He's taking Boku out of his element, getting to the ground right away, and keeping solid pressure on.
Took him all of 30 seconds to get Boku out of his element, as it did in the first round. Could be another grueling 4.5 minutes.
You see Aoki's left foot there that's pressing on the thigh of Boku. He's using that foot. That's going to be a springboard for him to pass guard here in a second. He's going to use that leg push off and pass into either mount or guard like that. Still passing, driving that knee through, turning the hips. And Aoki has a judo background also, so a lot of base, a lot of good positioning.
He's a judo black belt and a BJJ black belt. Boko just covering up for all he's worth, taking punishment to the back of the head, around the ears, and then
oh, that's
the
deep. That's underneath his chin. This is very deep. This could be it. We've got a new champion, ladies and gentlemen.
Aoki has got his revenge.
By submission via rear naked choke. And you